Okay, so they did 2.7 billion, quite a bit higher than I had, a sort of placeholder number. I was going to say they might be doing buybacks, but most of these companies, they do buybacks and then they just issue more stock. They got a brand name for this, 𝗔𝗍𝗍𝗍. Novartis does not specialize in eye care. I know Novartis very well. Most pharma startups start private and then they end up public as they need more capital. Nothing unusual about that. Lay's has been dropping, no? Yeah, we can look at Apellis. I know a lot of people like that stock. It's been a bit of a pain stock for many funds out there. It's supposed to be a good value investment. I think they have an IP problem at the very least. I remember when they were private and I was considering buying them or licensing it. Now, hopefully there'll be plenty of customers on real launch. Are you guys buying it for cheap? Why would you say Vertex is DOA? What do you mean? Big thing to say? Yeah, I mean, when we get our institutional customers, they'll be pretty big. And then, you know, the people that got in really cheap, they'll roll off over time. Like I said, dare you to forget to pay. I pray you have a bank accident. The bank declines the payment by accident. Immediately canceled. Immediately. Yeah, you know, you forgot to pay us, so we can't do this for free. All right, go sign up again. It's 8 times more expensive. Love it. Shouldn't have canceled, buddy. But I didn't want to cancel. You canceled. Our database says you've canceled. See this? Payment declined. I didn't do that, you did that. Some of my colleagues say we should have a grace period. Yeah, the prepay is a good idea too. I think there should be a grace period. I don't think you should get kicked out if you miss by 1 day. I gotta ask my colleagues what they think. Order canceled. I don't think we're gonna do PayPal. We are busy, man. Every engineer we add, they're like up to their, you know, like we can't do these little low impact things like, oh, add PayPal. Like when we're a big company, we'll do that. We'll have like some random guy with nothing to do all day and he'll be like, okay, I'll add PayPal. This will take approximately 3 months. Yeah, I'm thinking we could do a little grace period. You know, don't come crying to us. You know, you haven't paid us for a month. Crying, talking about my back hurt. This is my girl's card. 60 days grace. Man. I mean, you know, how about this? We'll send you 1 email and be like, yo, you got 3 days. That's it. I wonder if we could use Google Trends. Let's use Google Trends for a few different things. Let's see 𝗔𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 That was a Microsoft boom here. And Microsoft resurrected, but it's about to be dead again. Biotech or Quant? Well, Quant's very crowded and competitive, but it's still early days for Quant. Biotech, there'll always be medicine, and there'll always be an ability to invest in medicine and kind of make some alpha there, but the medicine world is changing quite a bit, where there's a lot fewer illnesses. I know it sounds weird, but there's still a lot of capital in pharma, but there's just not that much illness, you know, as there used to be. So a lot of the low-hanging fruit is gone. So medicine's just gotten harder and harder. Look at HIV. When you were just looking at 𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗡, you got a twice-yearly injection to stop HIV. I mean, that's incredible. That's almost to a point where low-risk people should take it. You know, I'm talking about like, you know, there's certain risk groups. I mean, if you're just single, you're not in a monogamous relationship for the long term. You're just single. I mean, it's not a crazy idea. If you're in a high-risk group, for sure, it's a no-brainer. But like Truvada was this kind of thing where it's like, okay, I gotta take this thing every day. That doesn't make too much sense. If you have HIV, you know, and you're non-monogamous, that could make more sense. But for 𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗡, I mean, you're getting to a point where like even low-risk people may that may be good enough. It depends on how fearful you are of HIV, but certainly in Africa, it would make a lot of sense. In the US, you know, it's still a bit of a intrusive thing. I mean, taking a shot every 6 months, it basically means you have 0 chance of ever getting HIV. But very few heterosexual, non-drug users, very, very poor folks ever get HIV, of course. But I've still met people who are paranoid. Rigetti's been dancing around 10 for a minute now. I don't know if it's getting ready or not getting ready. But it's been dropping increasingly every year. I'm sorry, not every year, every day. Really closely, we're gonna do a whole NVIDIA preview. Yeah, I mean, I think once you're in a monogamous relationship, you wouldn't need the vaccine. It's sort of a vaccine, even though it's an antiretroviral. Again, high-risk group you're probably better off. I'm not sure low-risk group people, probably risk-reward isn't there yet, but kind of remarkable. So anyway, the point is, if you want to be a long-term pharma investor, where are the drugs? Like, why would you ever make an HIV drug? Now, you got to have the perfect drug, you know, to the point where you almost have to intentionally want HIV to get HIV at this point. Cancer is sort of not there yet, but I'd say 20 years from now, I'm not sure you're going to have the same problem with cancer. You're not going to have the same problem with cancer. Cardiovascular disease, look at GLP-1s. There'll still be stuff to invest in, but I'm not sure it'll be a favorable climate. There aren't too many great books on quant in the first place, so, you know, to be mindful that, you know, it's sort of a dark art with a lot of knowledge passed hand to hand type of thing. There are some books out there, and you should read everything that's out there on the space. I mean, there's no reason to not read every single thing there is. Of course, I know methylene blue very well, particularly very close to methylene blue for sentinel node detection, dissection, sentinel lymph nodes. I mean, software investing will be really important and interesting for a long time to come, especially as companies need less runway and will probably be profitable earlier. You really have to catch stuff early on for software. And then hard tech. I mean, you want to make a nuclear reactor or something, so much more of the innovation is going to have to come from hard tech. $3 billion in sales for JOURNAVX. It's probably going to be less. I wonder what the street consensus is, if anybody knows. So Vertex looks pretty fairly valued unless they have some gigantic sales breakthrough with suzetrigine. And remember, suzetrigine is the first of its kind. It's a small molecule, so its patent will eventually expire. It is the first non-opioid pain reliever in a long time. Oh wow, DJT down to 25. Do you guys remember when I would short size DJT every day and it just wouldn't go down? CASGEVYs. None of these stem cell treatments are very useful. It might do $1 billion in revenue, but it's more, I mean, software just is so promising. Biopharma is so crowded, random rare diseases, there's 10 different drugs for some random rare disease like HAE, and companies like Intellia, they're basically making cures, but there's competition for the cure. It's really brutal. I mean, I'm pretty bearish, but again, I don't really believe in macro picks, you know? I mean, software is still really exciting. I'm not sure actually. Where would I start a company? Payments is still pretty exciting, I think. That's a good question. I should probably just think about this a little bit and give you a better answer. There's probably still more room in gig economy and social sort of media, social internet stuff. Probably still a lot of room there. Video games, really amazing industry. Elon's getting into it now. Yeah, I have to think about that pretty hard. XAI is a separate entity, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say in general, the more boring the industry, probably the better the startup. I'm guessing CHEGG had a really bad quarter and going to give a pretty bleak outlook, but you can probably buy on the dip. But if the quarter wasn't bad, it'll rally. I just don't know. Don't know what's going to happen. Our buddy had to leave early, unfortunately. He's a very cool CEO. One of our favorites. Runs a very successful kind of cloud company. But yeah, had to jump on a plane. We can probably look at... Okay, so who's reporting tonight? HIMS and CHEGG? CHEGG and HIMS, okay. Yeah, I have no clue what either company is going to report. Just to be 100% clear. I can do some quick research, but I mean, we're getting very close. Ooh, big sell-offs. So HIMS consensus is 22 cents and 470. They give guidance? Regardless, the street estimate is more important. Next quarter guidance is pretty light, 483. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna quite. Yeah, 22 cents estimate. Zoom is reporting. Okay, now we want to look at CHEGG. Does anybody even still cover CHEGG? Is there a consensus? There's a one guy. 16 cents and revenue of 142. And next quarter consensus is 139. And earnings are probably for negative number, positive 18 cents. They have sort of an accounting for your viewing pleasure. Home Depot's not today. It's tomorrow morning, right? See some of these stocks falling pretty heavy. IonQ. Yeah, HIMS worth as much as IonQ is kind of crazy. HIMS actually has customers. No, we're not buying CHEGG. We're just going to see what the quarter. I mean, I kind of want to buy it after if it had a bad quarter. Then we can press management to appoint Shkreli the CEO. You can lose 50% pretty quick, KG. You guys want to like YOLO? Want to do some YOLOing? It's usually on the newswire, so we got the newswire and Godel up. The website, it comes late. Sometimes, very rarely, it'll come on the website first. And then if you see it on the website first, you're lit. Nobody's on that. You can trade like you have insider info. HIMS and HERS. CHEGG, same time. Big number HIMS. Big numbers. Huge numbers HIMS. Is it trading down? Why is it trading down? Massive raise. CHEGG beat. They sued Google. Ooh, the CHEGG guidance is bad. They still saying they're gonna have positive EBITDA, but yeah, the CHEGG guidance is like, but the HIMS numbers are great. Markets, I don't know what the market's thinking. Maybe they thought they would beat by more. Let's see, consensus was 470. They came in at 480 for Q1. Consensus was 483. They're saying 520 to 540. Holy, tell me that's not a long. They keep beating and raising everything on everything. It's already, it's had this big run, so I guess, that's the thinking, but I wonder why HIMS is down so much. Yeah, it's already too expensive, I guess. I'd buy some here. It already got smoked the other day for the Ozempic stuff, right? So this is like, it's too much. But HIMS is just, the numbers are so insane. They just keep beating and raising. Like the guidance for 2025 is absurd. I'm not saying it's like some huge home run, but it should not be down. There's nothing bad about this report. There's not a single bad thing about this thing. They did have a massive run, but I'm not saying you buy it flat either. I mean, it's down 10%. So CHEGG guidance was just atrocious. They are rapidly disappearing company. They're suing Google. I don't think that's a good sign. Yeah, we can look at Tarsus. Yeah, their earnings didn't beat too much. I think maybe they were just investing in growth, but they shouldn't be too penalized for that with this revenue performance. It is one of these things that at the right price, no matter what, CHEGG is worth buying, but let's see how low it goes. I wonder what the cash flow was too. Yeah, I'm long HIMS now. They're on 36% revenue next quarter. Yeah, I don't think it matters if Rigetti is part of there's a number of companies that are going to be awarded the DARPA contract, and then one final winner will be chosen. Yeah, CHEGG is just a beleaguered company, and when you're problem with value investing is like, sometimes you're dealing with these really beleaguered companies and you're catching a falling knife, but you don't want to be, you can always wait for the quarter to report and then look at it. You don't have to look at it right now or buy it right now. See how it goes and then make your decision after. I mean, at the right price, CHEGG isn't so bad, but that's a really tough lesson to learn for sure. Gross margins went from 79 to 77. HIMS is not falling below 40. Let's see what the CHEGG cash flow was. I mean, CHEGG made money last year. Let's take a look. Maybe there's something there. The problem is the seasonality. Okay, so CHEGG made 50 free cash flow, which means it's trading around 3 times historical cash flow. Okay, they're saying the Q1, even with the Q1 revenue drop, they're still saying they're going to do 13 to 14 in positive EBITDA. Okay, 13 to 14 in positive EBITDA means it'll look something like this. So basically, they'll be breaking even. Maybe slightly negative free cash flow. Although last year they had positive free cash flow in Q1. What's going on with HIMS? I'm going to buy some more. This is a great growth story. I could be wrong, It's you guys put me into this thing. You guys always wanted me to look at this thing, so I'm looking at it. But look, I mean, look at this incredible company. I mean, they're saying 2.3, right? Company did 83 million in revenue, 2019, 83, then 150, 270, 530, 890, 1.5 billion, 2.3 billion. I mean, yeah, it's too cheap. Come on. I don't know. CHEGG is the right price. CHEGG might be a buy. I don't know if they're ever going to be profitable again. Is the problem. See, I don't know if capex, how capex kind of scales. It might scale. Let me see here. If it scales like revenue scales, I mean, they made free cash flow this quarter. It was also a strong quarter for them seasonally, right? CHEGG has only had one negative free cash flow quarter in the last 8 quarters. AI is supposed to be destroying their business, but they're making money. The problem is I'm not sure they're going to be free cash flow positive in Q1. And Q1 is supposed to be seasonally strong. Kids are in college. So what about Q2 and Q3? Kind of seasonally weaker usually. Yeah, I'm not sure what you pay for 10 million in cash flow. That could be declining even further. Yeah, Vertex, I don't see too much growth left. I'd rather buy Gilead. That HIV launch for Gilead is going to be huge. Oh, where are all the Nancy Pelosi lovers? I thought she only has insider information. I thought she only makes money. Turns out the stock market's just as hard for her as us. I guess earnings were supposed to beat for HIMS, but man, the revenue guidance is so big. I guess people don't care about guidance because bird in the hand, two in the bush. I mean, we've been bearish since forever. When Palantir was dropping, we shorted HIMS for sympathy. It's one of the few very pure growth companies out there. Why are you CHEGG baggy? I've been clear about CHEGG. We caught it. It went up to like 160 or something. I said sell. I've never endorsed it since. Yeah, just don't buy too much. Just buying HIMS. The options market's closed. No, CHEGG is got a decent capital position. My average on HIMS is 42.8. All right, 42.6 is my average now, but a little more. I can think of much better shorts. Oh, guidance was really good. I don't think it was weak. It was way above consensus. Sometimes expectations are that, they're going to be above consensus. The margins seem fine to me. They beat by, the current quarter, I guess, wasn't that great. But the guidance is just spectacular. I mean, the question is, do you believe them? Yeah, but a company like this, you don't really care about income. You only care about revenue. Revenue is growing 50%. What do you care about?
Partially.
Costs. I'm going to put a sell order for HIMS at 43. Just to sell a tiny bit. Go to the bathroom. I'm sure it'll be executed, so I'll put one at 43. 43 and a half. When you're a growth company, you consume free cash flow. It's if you're growing that fast, you can be spending fast too. I don't trust Tempest at all, and that's not organic revenue growth. I sold a small amount at 43, very small. Yeah, we got that all coming on AXD. I sold 1/6 of my position. Is that okay with you, Jay? And I bought it back cheaper. I believe they call that trading. Have you heard of that? Love shorting feels illegal. All right, so you're talking about Canadian natural resources, right? Oh, you don't speak English. How much you bought HIMS? You got the object and the subject, and yeah, there's not too many companies growing this fast. Is this what you're talking about? Canadian natural? Yeah, so I look at this and I don't know what any of this means. I know BOE is like barrel of oil equivalent. It's the maple syrup mousse ratio. Of course, the Athabasca Sands project. I like how there's no revenue or anything, it's just earnings. These are earnings. Governor Trudeau, he's our governor of the 51st state of Canada. I like Canada, I do. It'd be great as the 51st state. I like how they say they're diversified. What are they diversified? Light crude oil, medium crude oil, primary heavy crude oil, Pelican Lake heavy crude oil, bitumen, thermal oil, and SCO, which is another kind of oil. Okay, mate, we're going to be drilling, mate. We're going to be drilling, bud. I don't know, 6 out of 10 for HIMS conviction. I don't know if it's an easy play, but I don't know anything about mining or energy, man. Okay, so debt and equity, debt and cash are about the same, give or take. Cash flow. I mean, the problem is I don't really know how other stocks trade or how other stocks in the space trade. But like, it looks like it's like 10 times earnings. And I think it depends on where you think oil prices will go, but they do hedge themselves in that too.